It's very
oil-cooled Yamaha 350. And so when you change your oil or check your oil, whenever you change it, you want to get a new oil filter. Take your oil filter that's in your machine right now, and when you change your oil, you want to take it to the auto shop or whatever, wherever you go to get your parts for your vehicles, and ask them, should I get a new one or should I keep this one? So if they, whatever the answer is, whatever, when you're changing your oil, one mistake a lot of people make is they're putting that oil in their 1987 four-wheeler. You don't want car oil in your four-wheeler. A lot of people do this. It's a mistake. You may not know. That's what I'm telling you. This can ruin your four-wheeler, engine, and oil system. And then you won't have a four-wheeler like this. Or well, like the four-wheeler you have this year anymore. Because it can ruin a lot of things. To help your four-wheeler run better, you want to go to a special store and get some of this stuff. Special oil for your four-wheeler. I have 2 to 3 quarts in this ATV, and something you want to put in the fuel. A lot of people put this in their cars. It helps out. You only want to put like 1/2 inch to 1 inch per gallon, depending on how big your gallon is. And you just want to be careful on what you do, what you put in your vehicles, because a lot of people on YouTube are putting the incorrect stuff in their vehicles, and it can ruin them. You can get these stuff it's not focusing. At this store right here, you can get everything at this store. It's a receipt, and they can help you. They're great people. I recommend going there for your parts. Good experience. You'll order parts and they'll get it to you. You'll just go to the store and pick it up once it gets to their place if they don't have them in stock. Of course, they're nice to you, so you'll come back, which is good because then you have a place to go to when you got something wrong with your four-wheeler or vehicle, side by side or whatever. And I'm also going to show you how to check your oil, which you should do every single month or every week before you start the vehicle, because rather you could have an oil leak, or you're burning the oil, or the oil could just be really, like, it could go bad, and it could, like, ruin your engine if you don't change it every 3 months. You want to be careful with the dipstick, because once you get that dipstick in there, it's hard to get out. If you've never done this, I recommend you having a person that has experience to show you, like somebody like in front of you that can virtually show you, so you remember better and not just watching the video. Because I learned the good way on how to check oil is when somebody shows you right in front of you, a real person. So we had oil dripping off this thing immediately. So I'm at the top of this flat plate right here, and I've got a little too much in it, but more than enough is a little bit on the edge of okay, but it's good because you have more than you need. And it's just better to have a little more instead of not enough, because not enough you can seize your engine, and most of the time that happens when you have hardly any oil and your manual transmission oil on the other side, as if that's what you call it. You need a different kind of oil. It's for your shifter, the gears. If your gears are slipping and you can't go down to gear 1 or up gears and you're having trouble with it, or it's just like if there's a bunch of slugs in it and it's just not doing a good job, performance is not doing well, then you need to go over on the other side of the vehicle and use a screw or a flathead to take that apart, or not apart, but take the cap off and check the amount of oil. Check how much manual shifting fluid oil you have in there, and every time you check your oil you may spill a little bit, so you want to clean that off. And the result, if you don't clean it off, is it could just drip off, or you could catch your vehicle on fire and have it possibly be ruined because you did not clean the oil off, because it could get hot and burn or catch fire, which is highly probably not going to happen. But when you spill gas out of your tank, or you don't really make a little bit of gas go back into the actual thing right here, cap. Anyway, if you spill gas, do not start your engine, because that stuff, as people have had experience with, is highly flammable. I wouldn't mess with it. It's dangerous. You get hurt. A lot of damage could be done. People don't realize that they could start forest fires or stuff like that. Be careful with what you're doing with these, because you gotta make sure you're keeping update on them and doing things, making sure you just keep it in healthy shape. I put in that oil right there, the oil I just checked. You can put 2.5 to 3 quarts of this, or well, 3 quarts of this bottle right here, 3 of these bottles into your oil stuff, and it holds, well, this 4-wheeler holds that much. So yep. And over here is the shifter stuff, that right there. You want a screwdriver. Obviously you can see the shifter. You don't want to jam your shifter around. Make sure you pull your foot all the way up when you shift, because you can cause it to only kick into first gear halfway, and then it can slam into first gear and ruin some things if you do it too much. If you do it 1 or 2 times, I would probably look in there and make sure everything's fine. If you hear clinking or anything like that, grinding, or any little metal shards of metal being slushed around in there, you want to get it to a shop and get those metal pieces out and just flush it out and get that stuff out of there, because you don't want a bunch of little things in your foiler to ruin it. You want to get all those things out. And obviously, I do not believe that this can go 50 miles an hour, because right now I can only hit 25, which is okay, because I really don't go over 25. I don't see a need to. I don't really want to go over that anyway, because you can get hurt. You want to be safe on these, especially if you don't have the right gear, and you want to have a lot of experience before you do races with your family or friends or whatever. You want to know the terrain you're going to be driving on. You want to take a cruise around first. Pretty sure everybody does that before they go bombing around. But yeah, make sure your fuses are good and stuff. Randomly, make sure you got your battery clean when you're doing some things. That's good on me. Just a little dusty. Oh, dirt. But yeah. And this oil, you should have a quart of this, pretty much a bottle of this, and put it in your four-wheeler, cargo stuff, and obviously your tow straps and all your parts and things like that, for in case your oil drain plug falls off, and that's never good, because you could seize your motor by driving with no oil, and it drains your oil very quickly. And the reason why you want a oil, like a second oil drain plug or something, is so if you lose the good one you have, you always have a second one to put on, so you can get back to the shop and get more oil, get more gas treatment and stuff. And your oil plug is probably going to look like this if it's the original one, which I have the original one, but it kind of got bald. I kind of messed it up. You can look up some videos on how to get bolts and screws off of vehicles that are stripped, and you can get a hatch, or not a hatch, but whatever you want to call them, one of those big screwdrivers that are meant for making dents and things. So yeah, you want to make sure you got some extra fuses and stuff, just in case your battery connection goes bad and you know how to replace the wire to the starter and things like that, which is always good to know. Just, you pretty much should know your vehicle when you're driving it, because if you don't, then you don't know what to do in an emergency. Like if you're sliding, if you're drifting or sliding on accident, and you don't know how to stop drifting or sliding, it's pretty easy to stop on these things, for me at least. If you want to stop drifting or sliding on ice, you shouldn't gun it. You should always release the gas and just go down a gear if it's manual, so you stop sliding. Because if your back wheels are spinning, then your back end is going to swing in front of you where your front end just was, and then you're going to be sliding backwards, and then you're going to be doing circles, like going down the road. You're just going to be sliding. So then you could cause a collision or a wreck. So, especially on four-wheelers, and four-wheelers against trucks or cars, never a good idea. Obviously, the driver of the four-wheeler is going to get injured worse. So I wouldn't encourage you to get mad at car drivers, because they can obviously run you off the road like no problem. So yeah, if this video was useful and you got some knowledge from this, give a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. I would appreciate that. And yeah, I'll be putting a video out on how to put on front brake cables in the future, and how to get into the drums and stuff. So yep, and you have a good rest of your day.